This video is going to be a film study look at how Lamar Jackson performed in the Ravens' win over the Bengals Thursday night. The Ravens' fifth consecutive game scoring 30 points or more. I thought Lamar threw the ball exceptionally well. Deep balls. Got to give credit to Twitter friend of mine, Skeptic Goat, for this particular assessment, saying that it seemed like Lamar Jackson was getting on top of the ball more. I didn't notice it myself personally, and then he sent me a message indicating such, and I think that did have an impact. You're welcome to look at the throws here that are of a deep nature and let me know what you think of that. So shout out to him for that particular little insight. Lamar fought through an ankle injury on Thursday Night Football. Kind of scary for real, but the cool thing about it for me, besides him showing so much heart and guts and playmaking ability, is he shared the ball among 9 receivers. I think that's notable. I thought he played with a lot of force and commitment. I believe he accounted for over 300 yards of offense by himself and avoided any turnovers for the third time this year. I think it's also notable that 2 of those games where he didn't have any turnovers, so no fumbles lost, and no interceptions, 2 of them were against the Bengals. Week 2 win, 27-24. Remarkably similar stats for him from the 2 wins over the Bengals this year. It's really weird. Week 2, 24 of 33 passing, 237 yards, 2 touchdown passes, 12 carries, 54 rushing yards, no rushing touchdowns. Thursday night, 16 of 26 passing, so a little less efficient. 2 touchdown passes, no interceptions like week 2. 264 passing yards, 9 carries, 54 yards. No rushing touchdowns. The 16 of 26 performance dips him below the 70% mark for the year in terms of percentage. Move the Ravens to 8-3. They get a long rest before visiting the Chargers in Week 12. One thing to note here, and this goes back to my original opener about the long passes, deep passes. It's the second highest yards per attempt game for Lamar in 2023. It's over 10 yards per attempt. The Lions game at home, Week 7. He was up over 11, I think close to 12. Only the 8th time in his career that he's been over 10 yards per attempt. I went back and looked it up. I didn't look at 2018, so maybe there was a game there. So 8th time since 2019. If you look at some of the key plays he made, this is a tough Bengals defense that's there to contest, to resist. I thought they held a lot in the defensive secondary and got called for a lot of those penalties, deservedly so. Let's take a look at the film. It's going to be selected plays. We're not going to go through every single Lamar Jackson play, obviously, but first play of the game, first possession. Play action out of 21 personnel, a pro slot formation. So pro slot means Andrews or the tight end is on the right, and he's given this little fake out to the defensive end, which he also does on one of our run plays. So there's a little bit of a complementary nature there. Slot is to the other side, Ricard, and there's a receiver off screen. Little play fake to Gus, guard pulls, deals with that D end, who is just held up slightly by Andrews' little step fake, and that allows time for Lamar to deliver a pass for, I think, a 14-yard gain. All right, still first possession, 2nd and 9. This one is amazing. Complete to Flowers, 33 yards. The route is really cool. We'll get back to the all-22 here in a moment so you can see it. Likely with the effort, the accidental block on the second guy, the intentional block on the third guy. The route by Zay down here, I think it's DJ Turner. I think it's a really good football player from Michigan. He's a rookie, got a lot of physical attributes, really fast, but this route is difficult. He loses Turner, and then Turner gets pancaked by Likely's back. Another thing to notice about this is 12 personnel. The 2 tight ends are into the boundary. So I talked earlier in the year, I talked about how often Flowers was being used to the boundary. In this case, in this instance, they've flipped him to the field with Bateman. You can see OBJ is not on the field here. It's a 2nd and 9. This route, China in, putting his foot in the ground, just loses the guy completely. Gus's route kind of pulls, Logan Wilson into the window, but there's so much separation, so much room for Lamar to throw it over the middle of the field. The Bengals play a lot of man-free. Earlier in the season when we were preparing for the Week 2 game, Edgar Allen pointed out to me that how much man-free they were playing, and I hadn't watched a ton of film yet. They do, but this is a slightly different version of man-free. You can see they're doubling Mark Andrews here. You got a free safety middle of the field. Everybody else man relationship on their receiver. So mathematically, they can only bring 4, because that 11th defender is being used to double Andrews from inside-out alignment. 33 yards, Zay Flowers. It's a different time. Not saying that the Bengals can't defend us well if we were to face them a third time in the playoffs. I know that to a lot of people that seems highly unlikely now with Joe Burrow being injured and out for the year, but they can defend us well. But it's a different dynamic now. Them double teaming Mark Andrews on second and third down is no longer going to work the same way it has in the past. 3rd and 4, scramble to the left side on this possession. Just another one of those instances where a quarterback is able to sneak out. I call it the side door. The defensive end gets upfield. In this case, it's Hendrickson. And I thought that he really got off on Macari once, and in a second rep, he clearly had a win as well. Macari's just staying on him. He does have him hooked a little bit. I'm not sure why Lamar is trying to escape out to the front side. And then the side door, I call it, is B-gap. Inside of the defensive end's rush that's upfield and outrunning any defensive tackles or inside angle pursuit. So got 8 yards. We got an early touchdown first possession from Gus to go up 7-0. This is 3rd possession now, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with any element of this play. This is, in my reaction video, I forgot that this is 3rd down. So this is Lamar not throwing the ball away, and I spoke about it in the reaction video a lot, and then obviously it's Logan Wilson tackling him on the sideline. I don't have a problem with either element. Lamar's trying to make a play. It's 3rd down. He's giving his receivers a chance to break open downfield. It was easy for me in the reaction video when I forgot that it was 3rd down or didn't realize to say at some point we got to throw the football away. I still believe that. If you look at the Browns game the week before where we're scrambling on the right sideline, he didn't throw the ball out of bounds, but he tried to get an extra yard or two, and he got hit by Ford. It's late second quarter. We're trying to save time and get down there and get a field goal. This is one where if it's not 3rd down and he's trying to make a play, I would be a little bit more harsh like I was in the reaction video. And additionally, I got no problem with how Logan Wilson played at all, nor do I have a problem with that tackle. We had got stopped the previous drive, so Lamar's trying to make a play and get the ball downfield to his guys. As it stands, we had to punt. This is 4th possession, up top to Bateman. I love the throw. Maybe this ball is maybe this ball could be a half yard more downfield. You also have a defensive tackle. I think it's Reeder beating Simpson directly in Lamar's grill while he's throwing the football, which, possibly impacts it. I love that it's catchable, number one. I love that it's there for, first of all, Bateman's got CTB beat multiple times in this game, and let the all-22 flow through one more time for you. Bateman's just running away from him. If this ball's not half a yard or maybe 3/4 of a yard or a yard, underthrown, or it could be further out there, but it's better than what we had been getting, right? In terms of the ball being overthrown. Bateman had him beat. I think it's a really good throw by Lamar, particularly in light of the fact that, like I said, I think it's Reeder, or it's not Reeder, it's Hill, who unfortunately got hurt later on in the game, who's in Lamar's face and knocks him down. So it's not like he could get everything into the throw. I think it's a great throw. We'll take it if that's what we're going to get on these deep shots. And I thought we had 2 other good ones later on in the game. Thought he threw the ball extremely well, gave the wide receivers a chance, like you see on this particular possession. Skipping forward, 5th possession, about 6 minutes left in the second quarter. This is going to be the screen to Flowers. I think this hold is non-existent. I don't know what's being called, what aspect of it is a hold. I don't know how refereeing can improve in the NFL, number one. Number two, I don't know why we would expect it to. It's bad at all levels of football, guys. Check this out. This is the non-hold here. Flowers is on the 30. That's Keaton Mitchell, who's on the hash. And Flowers is fast. He ain't slow. But watch how Keaton Mitchell catches up. And right here at the 40, he's still a half a yard behind. Not now. At the other 40, he's a yard ahead. Those type of things. We talk about Keaton Mitchell's speed, Zay Flowers' speed. This one should obviously count. It's a great call. It's to the field. The nickel is blitzing. Were this nickel not to blitz, were his feet to be here, this play's not happening. It could be a situation where the Ravens had some kind of tell that they were going to get a nickel blitz on 2nd and 3. Again, 6 minutes left in the second quarter. Huge play. And this is an unaccounted for type of thing, that someone else would be so fast to get out in front of Zay Flowers. Who else on our team is that fast? I mean, no one, right? To be able to do what Keaton Mitchell just did from the -40 to the +40, be able to go from half yard behind to a yard in front, and then maybe even a little bit further in front by the time he makes contact with the defender, who I think admittedly is a linebacker, but man, it may be Battle. Battle's kind of a big top-end safety, but brilliant play call. Got to give credit to Todd Monken. Nonetheless, didn't count, and credit to Lamar. We come back here on this 3rd and 5. We hit OBJ. Kind of a triangle concept in the middle of the field. 29 yards. Again, it's against CTB. I think he's a really talented guy. I don't know if he came in with some type of injury or whatnot, but we really went after him for real. You can see here the triangulated nature. You've got inside linebacker occupied with Likely, inside linebacker occupied with Gus, and then so in between them, imagine a triangle would be a kind of weird triangle. I don't know if you're a math nerd like me, but kind of be a weird triangle like that. And in this case, Lamar hits OBJ over the middle. They're kind of lucky that the safety's in. I don't want to say lucky because, man free, that safety's going to be there. That's where he's assigned to be, middle of the field, to be the 3rd level of the defense. They're fortunate that that's what they were doing with the safety in this case. Nothing pulled him away. Otherwise, OBJ's gone. Because the route design of it brings Bateman on his kind of like outside turn comeback and then Flowers out in the flat to the boundary. So it's cool design that the top side route can go over the top of that space post-catch. Hopefully I said that in a way that makes sense. And then it's 3rd and 6. It's a tip pass. I like the design of it. The double slants from 2 and 3 to trips. Even if it doesn't count, you got a hold or something down at the bottom on, I believe it's on CTB against Bateman. I hate to keep mentioning the guy's name because he's a fantastic talent. It's a great job by 57. I think that's Pratt. He's a really underrated guy, if you ask me. This is a surprising development by Lou Anarumo here. They've gone with a 3-man rush. If you remember the Week 2 game, one of the plays where Lamar scrambled and got a first down on our last drive, the drive that finished the game, ran the clock out, I should say, they went with a 3-man rush. Lamar's able to get out of there. So my guess here is this is man, everybody else. I think that's pretty obvious. So we'll call it man free, because you got a free safety in the middle of the field. This illustrates the quandary, the problem that Lamar gives defenses. You really, if you ask me, have 2 guys that are sitting on the hash, in this case right outside of it. They are dual assignment, meaning spy Lamar, don't let him escape, and get in the windows over the middle of the field. So Lou Anarumo has, if you ask me, adapted that 3rd down call. He's always been a guy who will bring a 3-man rush on 3rd down. Not often. Sometimes he'll bring pressure, especially against Lamar. But if you remember the first AFC title game they played against the Chiefs, when they beat them and went to the Super Bowl and lost to the Rams, I think it was 6 times in that game they did a 3-man rush on Mahomes, and it flustered him. So those things can have an impact, and you get a very clear picture of it here. Lamar's got a ton of time. I'm not sure that it's the right move against Lamar. Having said that, 57 makes a brilliant play to tip this pass to Likely that, looks like it would have been on target, and then deflects right to Aguilar. Touchdown. The cool thing is so many guys are playing a role here. So many guys have an impact in this game, in the pass game. Like I said, completed passes to 9 different guys. The Ravens were able to get a stop against the backup quarterback Jake Browning near midfield on a 3rd and 3. I believe the play was initially ruled a catch and was overruled. So Lamar take us right downfield to get us a 21-10 lead. It's a 3rd and 10 from the -20, and it's Aguilar again over the middle against Awuzie. And in my opinion, I think you've got at least 2 flags or 2 penalties, infractions that should be called on Awuzie. And you can see that Lou has brought 4-man pressure. You've got a 5th guy, Wilson, over the middle. I think you get a very clear view of Awuzie holding up at the top right part of your screen, and I'll pause it in a moment. You can see that his hand is grabbing Aguilar, but credit to him because the ref who calls it is further that way or somewhere over in here. So smart move by Awuzie trying to hold or grab away from the ref being able to see it. In this case, it seemed really obvious, and I think that ball's a laser from Lamar. I think it's put in the right spot where Aguilar would be if he wasn't held up once, twice, or maybe even 3 times on the route. Browns had done the same thing the week before, if you ask me, try to be physical intentionally. 1st and 10 at the -33. This is going to be OBJ to the downside of the field, the boundary. I think that's Tylan Wallace out into the flats down here. I didn't even know he got in the game. OBJ was on fire. He was there to to make plays. He wasn't just there to compete and there to lead. He was there to make plays. Looked fantastic. It's unfortunate that he gets hurt on the last, reception of the game, but wide open in the zone. This is always interesting to me. Like, who do you apply this to? If you're PFF or any of the other rating services, who do you say this is the targeted player? That's why all those things are BS. To blame, you have to blame someone on each particular play. Sometimes it's just a great route combination into the boundary where they're playing 3 over 2, and the last route developing, I think, is the running back out of the backfield, is going to pull this defender into the middle of the field ever so slightly, such that when OBJ sits this down, neither the flat defender in this Tampa 2 nor the high safety is able to do anything with it. Again, this is late in the half. It's a 1st and 10 after the defensive pass interference penalty on Awuzie. I think it's just an illustration that sometimes great offense can beat good or very good defense, or maybe in some cases Thursday night, average to above average defense. So what does Lou do after the 3rd and 10 earlier? He goes sticks blitz 0. And when I get the end zone angle, I'll break this down and show you how I think it's a true example of sticks blitz 0, not the half-ass version that some teams run. But you got everybody in there. Looks like they're blitzing, that they're coming on a blitz. But what's the difference? You've got 3 Ravens receivers up here and only 2 DBs defending. So something ain't right up there from a Bengals perspective. There is a real problem on that side of the football in this particular play. Complete to the downside to OBJ. Slow spin sometimes works best. Off of, I think that's CTB again. Ends up for 21 yards. I'm going to break this down a little bit. This is a real version of Sticks Blitz 0. Normally, you have guys that are reading the linemen to their inside. And the rule that the Dolphins utilized in 2021, I broke this down many times. If you've heard it, my apologies. If you haven't, maybe it'll be interesting to you. The rule for you is if your player steps to you, you drop out. So look who's dropped out here. These 2 guys have dropped out because Linderbaum and Zeitler stepped to them, because what it means is mathematically they've lined up too many guys at the line of scrimmage. Actually, they have lined up too many. They, being the Bengals, they've lined up one extra guy that they probably shouldn't have. But that guy is away from where the offensive line stepped. Stepped here, stepped here, stepped here. So to the other side, you have a numbers advantage, I should say, for the Bengals, and that guy's going to be clean off the edge. It just doesn't happen quick enough from a Bengals perspective to be able to get there because Lamar gets the ball out. CTB was really off in this coverage, and usually in Sticks Blitz 0, as soon as the quarterback looks there, that's where you're going to go. That's where you're going to break. So interesting to me that there was so much space there, and CTB did not react. He went out of the game for an injury later on. I think it's possible that he had something going on before the game. 3rd and 7 at the 10. Another example of Lamar's playmaking with his feet. And then as soon as I saw this ball thrown, even though it's a broadcast angle, I knew it had to be a touchdown. Because the way Lamar slowed up a little bit and threw it, you could tell that he knew it was a touchdown. I think it's a good job by McCarry. Again, the broadcast team, Herb Street, I don't usually like listening to a whole lot. I thought did a nice job of highlighting that McCarry, after the initial win that Hendrickson had on a 3rd down sack, McCarry really, I thought, did a great job. He did get some help at times from chips. I saw at least 4 or 5 chips at times, so maybe it just kind of slowed Hendrickson down like body blows in a combat sports event. But this is a great example of Lamar's mobility. And again, sneaking out the side door. The D tackles, I mean, there's 3 gaps there for 2 D tackles. If these guys are going to be in the outside gaps, there's 3 gaps in here for only 2 D tackles. A 4-man rush doesn't always work against Lamar or any mobile quarterback. Look, we had trouble with Deshaun Watson last week. Big factor in the Browns coming to Baltimore and getting a win. But a beautiful play and cool moment to see Rashad Bateman get his first touchdown. So 21-10 Ravens at the half. Like I said, Lamar really spread the ball around. It was a little disappointing, actually very disappointing, I won't lie, to see the Bengals go downfield and get a field goal against our defense with their backup quarterback, 21-13, to open the half. This is the same play. I have no idea why it's playing again. My apologies. It was a little disappointing to see them go downfield, but we had some cool stuff happen in the 3rd quarter, even though we had to settle for field goals twice. This is Kolar in the game, obviously, because Andrews is hurt, chipping the end, and then sliding out, Lamar finding him for a 13-yard gain. I'll get the end zone angle one more time for you. Kolar is going to chip to help out with Moses and whoever else may be responsible. The DN widens up, so functionally right now you've got a three-man rush because Kolar did such a nice job with that DN. I think the running back expanding also forced the DN to kind of widen up some. The Bengals used to have something automatic in their defense for Hendrickson and Hubbard, whereby if the running back tried to cross their face, they would peel off with them. I kind of thought that's what this might be, and then 96 leaves him. So it's definitely a zone defense. Four-man rush, just too much time for Lamar, and a really, really nice job of Kolar. And again, I think you've got Macari being able to anchor down over there, possibly a little bit better than Ronnie Stanley has. 13-yard gain. Empty after the motion, complete to Mitchell for 8 over here down to the boundary side. Again, this is the possession after the Bengals went up 21-13. We got bogged down here. I can't remember exactly what it was. I believe this might have been when Lamar was asked to run, or when Lamar ran the QB draw on third down. I commented enough on it in reaction video. I'll do a standalone video on that later. It was clearly a two-play play, meaning he had a screen to the right to Mitchell and a draw to the left to him, and I have no idea why we didn't give it to Mitchell on the screen because I think it's there. So we're up 24-13 after the field goal. This is following a 21-yard run by Mitchell. An incomplete pass to Flowers, left side of the end zone. Yeah, there's really no chance that Flowers gets his feet down there from the standpoint of his first foot ends up out of bounds. But what do you notice? A three-man rush again. This is Lamar escaping from DJ Reader. I mean, Linderbaum's got to let go at some point. He can't hold. That's DJ Reader, who is a monster. And Lamar just shrugs him off like he's his younger brother. I think this is a brilliant throw. I love the body setup here. We've said for a long time that Lamar reminds us of a Major League Baseball shortstop. He would probably, if he played Major League Baseball, though, need a pinch runner for a lot of times because he can't slide. But that's a topic for another day. I thought that was a great throw to Zay Flowers. Ends up being incomplete. We did stretch the lead later in the fourth quarter to 34-13. This is OBJ up top, I think against Turner, and I believe there's a penalty on this play. Of course, we don't accept it. Man free, obviously. You got the motion through. Four-man rush. Lamar, brilliant throw, if you ask me. He does a nice job, I think, looking the safety off, or we'll say holding the safety in the middle of the field. We'll put it that way. Holding the safety and then clearing the space. You can see his helmet is looking, in this field of vision, I believe, right here. So maybe he's actually looking at likely, or just holding the safety because he comes back here to Bateman. One of those left to right reads. Neat arm slot, if you ask me. Perfectly placed. I don't know how you get it placed any better unless you walk out there and hand it to him. 51-yard gain. Had the deep ball going. I thought the throw to Bateman, this throw to OBJ, the one to Flowers that I highlighted a minute ago, yeah, it goes down as an incomplete pass, but I think it's maybe 8-10 inches off in terms of you'd like to be 8-10 inches further towards the middle of the field. So Flowers could maybe get his feet in bounds, but I'm not sure he had much of a chance to get his feet in bounds anyway. Lamar had things going. And then the last thing I want to mention in this video, it's a great hustle by Logan Wilson there, by the way. The last thing I want to mention here is how shocking it is that the Bengals were just unable to stop anything. They still can't. It's week 11. We showed them this in week 2. This isn't just unbalanced. This is unbalanced from a normal personnel grouping. There is no left tackle here. There literally is no left tackle. We are guard no one. I don't know what play football, dude. Like, you're a great football player. This to me also is a little bit of the element of Lamar. Even though we don't boot with him a ton, we do have a boot for a touchdown on fourth down against the Lions and a boot for a touchdown pass against the Lions to Andrews. So that's the only thing I can think why you've got two players, being held here where there's really, come on. It's guard, tackle, tight end to the other side, and guard nobody to the downside here. Hendrickson is motioning something, but the communication. Also, too, they'll have to give credit to Todd Monken. He removes your ability to make that adjustment. Why? And you can't see this from this angle. It wasn't available with the video. We huddle, and we're still in the huddle at like 8 seconds, maybe 9. So we're getting to the line. It's coming. And that's the reason why he's doing it, so the defense can't see it that long. To me, they should have had a light bulb should have went off in their brain. Hey, they're still in the huddle. There's 8, 9, 10 seconds left on the play clock. You know what's coming. They couldn't stop it, and it was so disrespectful when we did it again on the next play. 1st and goal from the 3. Gus for 3 yards. Now you say, well, Coach, there is a left tackle. Yeah, was Isaiah Likely. And this is a slightly different blocking scheme. If you ask me, I'll run this one a couple of times. Power, normally, you got your J kick out block, the backside guard pulls, and everybody down here is down. Maybe you've got a combo down but the center blocking back on someone necessitates that you get down blocks on this front side, because you don't want to down block here and then step out here and allow that backside run through like Ray Lewis did on the 4th down years ago against the Chargers. But that's kind of what we do. We step out here with Zeitler and we build a wall. There's the kick out block by Ricard. Simpson is just a secondary kick out, really. And this almost looked, if they blocked it the way they wanted to, if this is the way they wanted to get it accomplished, they almost blocked it like a designed cutback for Gus, which is really cool if you ask me, because we've been running the power down their throats for 120 minutes. Well, maybe not 120 minutes, but at various times in both games in 2023. And in this case, we appear to have blocked it for Gus to cut it back. Maybe our coaching staff recognized that Hendrickson was going to hold on the backside and respect Lamar as a boot threat. I thought it was a pretty amazing moment. I was laughing watching the game from the standpoint of, man, it's a high-level defense. I have a lot of respect for Lou Anarumo and the things they've been able to do there in the last, 3 years. And for them to get beat by the same concept, unbalanced power to the side where we have more guys lined up, was kind of shocking. In any case, man, back to Lamar. Played brilliant throughout the game. I would like to have seen him not have to run the ball on that QB draw later in the game. I think I made my opinion clear in the reaction video. Additionally, were it not to be 3rd down, the scramble where Logan Wilson tackles him on the right sideline and he initially got hurt, were it not to be 3rd down, I'd say, hey, man, let's just live to play another day. But when I look at the context, the game, the play-by-play, we had just been stopped the possession before. The Bengals had gotten a field goal, after our touchdown. So 7-3, we get stopped. I believe we stopped the Bengals again, or they have a missed field goal perhaps. And so on our 3rd possession, Lamar, he wants to make a play. He wants us to retain possession of the football. So I understand it. Were it to be 1st or 2nd down, I expect him to have the game awareness to say, let's get out of bounds or let's throw it out of bounds and let's live to play another day. But other than that, there can't really be anything that he did in Thursday's game with Andrews going out early, with his ankle getting hurt, re-injured at least once, him falling down twice from either the turf or maybe inability to push off of that foot. And then a huge moment playing 4 or 5 days after losing to the Browns at home. I thought this was a moment where he showed his true worth to our team. And on top of all that, the deep ball throws that we have been inconsistent on this year, he made an adjustment. I don't know if it was him, T. Martin, Todd Monken, or someone else. But like I said, Skeptic Goat was the guy that pointed it out to me on Twitter that it appeared as if he was on top of the ball a little bit more. And that, to me, made the trajectory of the ball and made it easier for him to have touch. So you guys let me know what you thought of how Lamar played and the plays that I chose to illustrate how well I think he performed in the Ravens Thursday Night Football win. Appreciate you guys' time.